Are giraffes OP? They got a good kick. Do they have a good head swing? I wonder if the head does damage. I've never thought about that. Like a good yeah, you know what I'm saying? Like gay, like straight like instead of like weaving, a weave is like an attack. Imagine. I've never imagined, but now that I am, that sounds outrageous. Oh, that sounds outrageous. Oh. Yo, he stomped that sucker out. The legs are definitely the strongest, though. Look at those legs. Holy. Golly. Bing. Nice.
The Africa server is full of extremes. You've got the most powerful builds in the game, including the largest terrestrial build in the entire game currently. But while the African bush elephant may indeed be the largest, it isn't the tallest. That title goes to the subject of today's video, the giraffe. But is being the tallest build in the game...
Oh, look at that shot, though.
Title goes to the subject of today's
POV.
video, the giraffe.
Oh, what a POV. Gee, God. Look at that. Just looks like a tree or something. Just, holy shit. How long it is, just, that's wild. Also, check out this food. We got food. We got potato, concha, beef tortilla ting. Yeah.
But is being the tallest build in the game actually that effective of a strategy? How does it play out in practice? And what abilities did the giraffe spec into in order to compound its innate advantages?
Oh, sizes and everything.
The giraffe's extreme height grants it several benefits. The first of these is how it completely changes the dynamics regarding the game's stealth mechanics. So, most top predators in the African savanna opt for the ambush strategy to get within striking range of their targets. They tend to rely on a combination of
Oh, can they even stealth? How would a giraffe stealth? There's not even trees big enough next to him. Like, where's he going?
Its extreme height grants it several benefits. The first of these is how it completely changes the dynamics regarding the game's stealth mechanics. So, most top predators in the African savanna
where does it go?
opt for the ambush strategy to get within striking range of their targets. They tend to rely on a combination of innate camouflage and use of natural cover to evade detection, while closing most of the distance, breaking from cover only at the last possible second when they believe they can close the remaining distance before the target has a chance to react. This strategy is almost completely useless against the giraffe, because the stealth benefit from natural cover, things like tall grass and bushes, is entirely negated when viewed from a high vantage point. While staying low to the ground may obscure your character from the perspective of something like a gazelle or zebra, to a giraffe you are completely exposed.
This man's got the Black Ops 2 main menu multiplayer background music going on right now. And I'm getting fucking flashbacks. I feel like I'm about to pop in a game with the boys.
And your approach was...
Or the boy, you know, the man, the myth, the legend, the bro, the, you know.
Of something like a gazelle or zebra.
Wasn't really that many people around at the time.
Things like
shit.
Tall grass and bush.
Especially on PS3. Everybody had an Xbox.
Obscure your character from the perspective of something like a gazelle or zebra. To a giraffe, you are completely exposed and your approach was seen coming from quite a ways off. The second main benefit granted to the giraffe via its height is a bonus to its defense. Because the giraffe's hurt box is elevated significantly off the ground, it's extremely difficult for most players to land a hit on the giraffe's vitals. In fact, for literally every relevant threat in the African meta, landing a strike on the giraffe's weak point requires either a risky jump strike or an ambush from an elevated position. Neither of which are very efficient strategies, with the jump strike in particular being easily punishable by any of the giraffe's many powerful counterattack options. Speaking of, let's take a look at what those are. The giraffe's reach not only keeps its own vitals out of—
Wait, it's like a walker from Star Wars. So could a snake take out the legs? Is there a big enough— there's gotta be a big enough snake that could like wrangle a giraffe. Or a giraffe? A giraffe, you know what I'm saying? Like, there's gotta be a man, or not a man, but a slither, you know? There's gotta be.
Attack range, but also makes it very easy for a giraffe main to land their own attacks. Similar to horses and zebras, the giraffe's main method of attacking is
what about an eel?
Dealing moderate damage to any target that dares enter the giraffe's zone of control. However,
Never
when the
mind.
giraffe really needs to deal some damage, it resorts to its signature move, the ossicone bash. The giraffe swings its neck in a wide arc, with the intent to connect with the horn-like protrusions on its skull, called ossicones.
Wait, they
Connecting
do.
with
Oh
this
my.
attack means
Oh my god, bro! It looks like they dislocate. What the?
zone of control.
You see that?
However, when the giraffe really needs to deal some damage, it resorts to its signature move, the
Oh
ossicone
my
bash.
god!
The giraffe swings its neck in a wide arc, with
Oi.
the intent to connect with the horn-like protrusions on its skull, called ossicones. Connecting with this attack means pretty much instant game
Wait, the horns! I never realized they have horns. They look like a goat. Oh, that's crazy. I never noticed.
on its skull,
It looks like a birthday party hat.
called ossicones. Connecting with this attack means pretty much instant game over for any player it
Oh,
hits,
no.
unless they have an extremely large health pool, such as another giraffe.
Oh, he died,
However,
no?
it is a bit more risky to just throw this move out, considering that it puts your normally out of reach weak point in a potentially vulnerable position, and also deals a little recoil damage with each use as well. And if an attacking player does manage
The
to
brain
dodge the
damage
first
recoil.
swing and get in close, using this move becomes much more difficult, since the close range hitbox is a bit of a sour spot. But still, the mere threat of this move is enough to dissuade most attacks, to the point that most Predator players won't even bother with a high-level giraffe.
No.
Low-level giraffe mains are a lot more vulnerable, and this is where the efficacy of the giraffe's reach and height is really put to the test.
Oh, my hair!
Upon spawning in, the giraffe is pretty much helpless. It doesn't have the height advantage on its opponents yet, but because of its slender, lanky shape, it has disadvantage on all saving throws to avoid being grappled or knocked prone.
It's going
And
crazy.
so it's the job of the higher level giraffe players to complete the
Higher
long,
player.
arduous escort mission of protecting the newborn giraffe as it matures.
Right.
Now, because the giraffe's attack range is so broad, it is able to guard a wide area and pressure a counterattack on any player that would dare target the newborn. However, because the giraffe does not possess
Jeez.
any AoE attacks, defending against multiple opponents at once can be quite challenging, often necessitating that a newborn tank a few hits as the mother chases away one attacker at a time. Now, despite having not leveled up at all, the giraffe starts with a pretty generous amount of HP.
Bro, the amount of damage that little sucker ate. Brother, what? I don't even want to see that again. Holy shit.
A pretty generous amount of HP, but even so, it's not uncommon for the escort mission to fail. And with a respawn time of 15 months, this is certainly one of the most frustrating aspects of giraffe gameplay. Next, let's talk about individual matchups. First, we have the cheetah. Anyways, on a serious note, first we have the leopard. Now, the leopard is one of the most interesting matchups because of its ability to climb and attack from a high vantage point. Leopard players have been known to use their ability to climb as part of their ambush strategy,
Oh, that's kind of broken.
bouncing on their target from above. This could mean it's the only predator in the game with an honest
Yeah, this is like one of the few guys who can actually go for the head, or like, yeah.
shot at landing a surprise crit against the giraffe. But in all honesty, this would be an insanely risky strategy, and since leopards hunt alone, there's really not much reason to try and take
Alone?
down such large prey, when they can survive just fine off of the standard diet of antelope and deer. Still, against a lower level giraffe, I could see this strategy working pretty well, if no allies were around to rescue it. But since leopards kill slowly by strangling their target with their bite, this gives the giraffe's party members a lot of time to react and respond accordingly.
Bro, do these things stand a fucking chance against a rhino? Those things are like these things are built, right? They're quite thick, but nowhere near like a rhinoceros thick. Bro, I'm just imagining the big old echo thing just busting through those kneecaps. Like, ain't no way they sticking through that shit, right?
This is similar to the issue lions have in their matchup against giraffes. Compared to some of the other potential threats, a lion can't actually deal that much damage on its own to a giraffe.
He's
Even
getting-
against a low-level giraffe player,
getting
it's
chased.
unlikely they could take it out in a single attack, leading to the same issue as a leopard, where the giraffe's teammates would be able to rescue it. However, because lions do cooperate, together it is possible for a pride of lions to bring down even a large adult giraffe, but not without serious risk to the attackers. And since lions typically close in on their targets by staying low to the ground and moving slowly, the giraffe's height is perfectly suited to detecting their approach and escaping before they're in any real danger. So lions taking down giraffes does happen, but it's exceptionally rare. The rhino is an interesting
rhino!
matchup. Obviously, giraffes and rhinos have no real reason to attack each other, but due to the rhino's poor eyesight, it tends to perceive most players that come near it to be threats regardless. Lucky for the
Oh,
giraffe,
he got
the
confuzzled.
rhino's horn is not usually able to reach the giraffe's weak point, so as long as it can avoid getting knocked over, giraffes tend to do just fine in this matchup. Despite
Damn, advantageous, you say. So they'd win just because they're smaller, unaware. Oh, poor little rhino.
to reach the giraffe's
That's so cute. Look at him though.
weak point, so as long
Oh, he's like a muscular dog. Well, I don't.
lucky for the giraffe, the rhino's horn is not usually able to reach the giraffe's weak point, so as long as it can avoid getting knocked over, giraffes tend to do just fine in this matchup. Despite the incredible range of a rhinoceros's horn, the giraffe's kick can still outrange it, and although rhinos are quite tanky, a good kick to the face is usually enough to dissuade further attacks. An important matchup I want to discuss is the hyena. Now, because they can't really jump,
they got
hyenas
packs.
don't have anywhere near the vertical threat range that lions or leopards do, so attacking an adult giraffe is pretty much out of the question. However, instead of this increased agility, hyenas have a much more powerful bite. Rather than requiring a critical hit, a hyena can crack bone with a single bite anywhere on the target, which can immediately disable their prey and make rescue attempts futile. This is particularly effective against players who rely on their teammates for protection, as even if an ally does step in to fight off the attack,
Jesus, their canine or their bite is so crazy.
oftentimes it's simply too late and the damage has already been done.
Brother!
Eventually the teammates will move on and the hyenas will be able to close out the kill. Lastly, I don't think it's any real surprise to see that giraffes still have to respect the space of an elephant. Elephants are tall enough to gore a giraffe with their powerful tusks.
Oh, bro, that's just a bigger. Oh man, I should have known. Rhinos are kind of like too small. It's a fucking an elephant maybe though. An elephant's just like a bigger rhino. Double horn, double tank. That makes these probably got a better chance.
So if there's ever a territorial dispute between an elephant and a giraffe, the elephant always wins. Thankfully for a giraffe, its longer legs grant it a faster run speed. So while elephants do pose a serious threat, this hardly ever actually results in direct damage. In fact, by and large, rather than competing with other herbivores for the best resources, the giraffe's unique access to treetops means that it actually makes a lot of sense for other herbivores to tolerate or even appreciate the presence of a giraffe. They aren't taking away any food they would have accessed anyway, and could also serve as an early warning system if they see predators coming. So, while they're definitely not the most overpowered build, they're certainly up there, near untouchable for the vast majority of their playthrough, and have fairly reliable protection in the early game. I'd put them in solid A tier. In fact, it's somewhat strange that other herbivore players haven't started speccing into similar height advantages to gain the same survival perks as the giraffe. The giraffe is extremely unique in its role in the meta, which is weird because historically, the treetop grazer giant type build has been extremely successful.
That's the problem. The animals just pick the wrong spec. Sucks to suck.
Giant long-necked rhinoceros reigned supreme during the Oligocene.
What the fuck is
that?
That's an alien.
Absolutely dominate during the Mesozoic in the form of the sauropod dinosaur. So why only the giraffe in today's meta? There are a few theories on this, but that's beyond the scope of this video. In terms of strategy and playstyle, the closest thing we have today is probably the camel. But surprisingly, the giraffe is not that closely related to camels. The giraffe only has two close relatives in the current meta. The first is the okapi, a strange build that functions as sort of a middle ground between deer and giraffes. And the second is one that basically nobody would expect, the pronghorn, which is completely different than the giraffe in both stature and location.
He's tiny.
Both the okapi and giraffe are only playable on the Africa server, but to find the pronghorn, you need to travel all the way to the North America server. The pronghorn deserves an entire video to itself since it's such a fascinating build with an extremely distinct strategy from everything else on the American server. And guess what? That video, it already exists. You can watch it right now, a month before everyone else, by subscribing to Nebula, a streaming service owned and operated by and for creators like me. Nebula has kindly sponsored this video, and by subscribing to Nebula, you can get access to tons of bonus content, early access to new videos, and all of my videos completely ad-free. Nebula's support has been integral in my channel's continued level ups. These flashy edits, high quality stock footage clips, and custom 3D animations are all made possible due to the support of all of you who've already subscribed. If that sounds like good business to you, I encourage you to head to the link in the description and sign up. You'll immediately get access to my pronghorn video before anyone else, as well as all of my upcoming videos early and ad-free. In addition to getting early access to videos.
Okay. Well, that was cool. That was interesting. I feel like that's probably about it for the giraffes, but that was interesting. Seems like they're pretty high spec. They got all sorts of loadouts and whatnot, and keeping them in a good position. A tier is not bad at all. Can deal with quite about anything.